Thank you so much, Anton. It's a pleasure to be here and speaking to everyone all over the world. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I think Anton already told you this. I'm the founder of LinkedIn to Business. The LinkedIn chat is our Twitter chat on Tuesday nights, which I don't even know what time zone that would be. Probably a ridiculous time in the morning or night for you guys. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, so I don't think that's actually going to be a possibility for for anyone overseas. We'll have to do another one. We do have a chat on Blab every morning at 10 a.m., 12 noon, so some of you could probably jump on that instead. I'm a contributor to LinkedIn's Sophisticated Marketer Guide. I'm the author of LinkedIn Marketing Hour a Day. I don't know why that's not on there. And I got in Forbes for a while, so that was always that's nice to get listed by Forbes. But oh yeah, there's the book, LinkedIn Marketing an Hour a Day. Here's Sophisticated Marketer's Guide. If you haven't downloaded this yet, Google it. It's called the Sophisticated Marketer's Guide to LinkedIn. It's free. LinkedIn put it out. There's some really good statistics in there. I'm going to be sharing them, just a couple of them as we start out here. But it's absolutely worth downloading and taking a look at. It's just there's a lot of great information in there. It's not just me either. There's a bunch of excellent LinkedIn experts, authors, speakers, trainers, influencers, and employees who contributed to this ebook. So it's free, absolutely worth downloading. So let us talk about a few things about LinkedIn and why LinkedIn might be of interest to you and your business. We'll get you, Anton, if you want to look, just Google LinkedIn Marketing Hour a Day, we can get you that link. And then, Anton, if you'll just Google Sophisticated Marketer's Guide to LinkedIn, we can get them, both of those links. I'm going to be busy speaking. So LinkedIn has 400 million members, 2 new members join per second. So it's not growing as fast, obviously, as Facebook or even Instagram, but it is also focused very much in the business space. So I think it's still growing exponentially quickly, considering that it is mostly business professionals on there. There's 100 million active users at any given time, so that's pretty high, actually, that a quarter of the users of LinkedIn are using it. Of the 400,000, 100,000, or I'm sorry, of the 400 million, 100 million are in the US, but that means that 70% of LinkedIn users are actually outside the US in over 200 countries and territories. So I'm glad you're here, because LinkedIn is as much or more for you being in Europe than it is even over here in the US. And the average time that people spend on LinkedIn is 17 minutes. The conspiracy theory around LinkedIn and all of LinkedIn's new changes is that they made these changes so people stay on the site longer. It's not as sexy and as fun as, say, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, but it is such an excellent business tool. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today, how to use LinkedIn for your business. It's #1 social networking site for driving traffic to corporate websites. So if you're a business, especially if you're in the B2B space, and if you're actually looking for a job or you're thinking about creating a business, LinkedIn is absolutely the place for you. 91% of marketers use LinkedIn to distribute content. I want to talk about that kind of near the end of my presentation, this thing called Publisher. I know folks in Europe weren't getting access to it for the longest time. Now my clients in Europe do seem to have access to it. So if you're not using Publisher yet and you're creating content, you're writing blog posts, you're writing newsletters, you're doing videos, you have presentations, you have a book, you have an ebook. If you're creating content, I would highly recommend using LinkedIn to distribute that. It's not that it should be your only platform for distributing that content, but it should definitely be one of the platforms. And again, I'm going to tell you how to do that and some best practices. 93% of marketers on LinkedIn rate it as effective for generating leads. So that's what we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about. It drives more traffic to B2B blogs than Twitter, Facebook, and G+ combined. Now, this one blew me away because Facebook has over 2 billion members. and LinkedIn only has 400 million only, right? But because it is very business focused, and they do say B2B blogs, business to business blogs, it is absolutely where you need to be as a business person, B2B and B2C. 50 LinkedIn members are 50% more likely to engage with a company page that they engage with. So we're going to talk about company pages as well and what you can do there. And then 65% of companies acquire leads. So specifically, what we're going to talk about today, innovative ways to use your company page. Branding your company, whether you're one person or 100 people or 1,000 people in your business, how to brand with LinkedIn's new hero image, how to sell content or how to sell with your summary section, how to use content marketing with LinkedIn's new publisher app, and then social selling with LinkedIn has an internal CRM or customer relationship management tool, and we'll take a peek at the new Messenger app too, which I'm not a huge fan of, but there's some positive things there. So as I mentioned earlier, members are 50% more likely to engage with a company that they engage with first on LinkedIn. So you've got to have a company page. If you don't have a company page, all you have to do is go to the interests section on LinkedIn. So when you go to LinkedIn, you'll notice there's a home, a profile link, a jobs link, education link, and then there's an interests link. If you click on the interests link and drop down, there's a company link. So you want to get to that company page. Once you're there, you'll see there's a button that says new or create new company. And that's what you do. Now, I would recommend checking online, just checking in LinkedIn's search box to see if your company maybe already has a company page that's been created. Back when LinkedIn introduced company pages back in 2007, unfortunately, there were no restrictions, so anyone could create a company page for your company. And so a lot of companies have company pages and they didn't even realize it. The problem is you can't create two company pages with the same website address. So you have to have a unique website address. So if companyabc.com is already being used, you'll have to find out who opened it. You'll have to make yourself an administrator. You can do that with the help section. And then you can create your new page. Now, if you do a quick search, you don't find your company page, great. Go to Create New. They're going to ask for the name of your company, and they're going to ask for your email address. And again, it has to be a unique email address, like name@companyname.com. It can't be a Gmail, a Hotmail, a Yahoo address, because Gmail, Yahoo, and all of those folks, Google and Yahoo already have company pages, so you can't use those email addresses. You just have to have a unique URL, your name at yourcompanyname.com. Now, once you've done that, there are a couple things that you can do to create your page. First of all, let me see. We didn't use this last time, but I think maybe, nope, not going to let me. Let me see here. Let me little pointer. Maybe? Pointer? Oh, guess not. All right. Oh, there we go. All right, that's not exactly what I wanted to do, but this is your hero image, and it is 664 by 220 pixels. So I don't know if you can see that there, but we've got 664 or 646 by 220 pixels, and that is this picture that you see down at the bottom here. What we like about that is it gives you a lot of opportunity for branding. So as you can see, I put my logo, which you really don't have to do because it's already up here. So I might actually take that off and use that real estate for something else. But I've got my website there. I've got something that says follow us. Anytime you can do a call to action. I've got my phone number. So you have a lot of opportunity to use this space. Of course, you want to do something that looks like your website. You want to do something that looks like your Facebook page. And here's a hint: your Facebook, if you've got a Facebook hero image, it will probably fit into this section. So you can at least start there. Especially if you're not going to be spending a whole lot of time on your company page, use the resources you already have. So go ahead, grab if you've already created a hero image for your Facebook page. If you haven't, I use Fiverr, Fiverr.com. So I use Fiverr to create these at $5 a pop, and then I've got a graphic artist for my clients. But you can actually create one of these if you're graphically impaired like I am. Like, I'm terrible at graphics. Anywhere between $5 and $50, you can probably get a nice hero image. And if you're good at graphics, if you're good at Photoshop, then create your own. Really, all you need to know, it's 646 by 220 pixels. The bottom left-hand side will have some content. It will actually have your logo and your company name. So maybe leave that bottom left-hand side kind of blank. But other than that, that's all you need to do. So that is the main thing that I would ask all of you to do if you have a company page, because a lot of people haven't done that. It doesn't take a very long time, and it really helps with branding your company page. The other thing you have is a 2,000 character description. It doesn't look like it because the fields that LinkedIn gives you to work within are too small. But if you create it first in a Word document, and again, repurpose content you already have. If you have an About Us page on your website, repurpose that, put it into a Word document, maybe do some formatting. You can add bullets in Word and pull them over. That's how I got bullets in here. You'll notice within LinkedIn itself, you can't add bullets. But if you do it first in a Word document, and by the way, this is true for almost every field on LinkedIn, if you do it first in a Word document, you can just copy and paste that whole thing over. The third thing to remember is put calls to action, both on your hero image and in the copy on your company page. Calls to action being phone us now, call us, follow us, sign up here, right? Tell people what to do, or they won't think to do it. It's very simple psychology. That's why I have the follow us on my hero image. People don't even think, oh, I need to follow this company page if I'm going to get that information from them. So definitely consider that. The other thing that you want to do is have a list of keywords. Now, you're going to want this for your personal profile as well. So have that list of keywords. It does not need to be as sophisticated as maybe the keywords that you created for your website. Basically, anything that you think someone would be typing into LinkedIn if they were looking for someone like you. That helps you get found. So we're talking about lead generation. Well, you can't generate any leads if no one can see your profile. So getting those keywords will help your profile get found. And then the other thing you want to do is add content. If you're going to be adding business content to your tweet stream or to your Facebook stream or even to your personal LinkedIn stream, go ahead and add it to your company page as well. It's an update just like anything else. The other reason for that is if you want to do advertising on LinkedIn, which we don't have time to really to talk about today, but if you want to do advertising on LinkedIn, you have to have company page updates. That's what you advertise. So a couple things about your company page. 646 by 220 pixels. It's not very big. Utilize what you already have, like your Facebook hero image, 2,000 character description. Add your calls to action in there, add your keywords, add your website link. There'll be a couple places. There's actually a place where you can put your website link, but you can put it in other areas because if someone looks at your profile, your company page profile from a digital device like an iPad or tablet or an Android phone, those links become hyperlinked. So it's okay to put some links in here if you want, and make sure to add valuable content. It will take you 1 to 2 hours, but here's the thing. If you don't have a company page, you could actually lose credibility. And in case I forgot to mention it, company pages are free. Everything I talk about today is going to be free. It's part of the free account on LinkedIn. I will tell you if it's not. But so company pages are free. Hopefully everyone has them. All right, so that's your company page. Let's talk about your personal profiles. Some of you might be employees, so you don't have access to the company page. So we're going to spend really the rest of our time talking about your personal profiles on LinkedIn and what you can do to attract prospects. Now, LinkedIn has a new hero image. It's kind of like what we looked at on the company page, but it's for your personal profile. And if you go to my, I don't know if I can put it in here, if you go to my profile right now, well, maybe after the presentation, let me put it in here, linkedin.com. You'll see what I mean by this. And you've probably seen this before on other people's profiles. It's called a hero image, again. It is 1400 by 425 pixels. Why LinkedIn can't settle on one, I don't know. But Riz, I promise to add you this time. Invite me to connect, Riz, and I promise to accept your invitation, or I'll tell my assistant too. This new hero image is 1400 by 425 pixels. Use the outer edges. The fact is your profile is going to take up kind of the whole middle section of this hero image. So you want to put your content around the outer edges. You can put your contact information in there. Like if you go to my profile, you'll see I have my phone number and my website there. Neither of these are clickable. I can't click and get to that website. But I figure if someone's looking at my profile, wants to call me, my phone number's right there. It's easy to do. Or if they want to go to my website, they can type it in. The nice thing about that is web crawlers can't get that information. So I don't get a bunch of phone calls, you know, those automated phone calls and those automated newsletters that drive everybody insane. So that's it's a great place actually to put your contact information as well. You can put calls to action. So here, this is one of my clients, Ventive. They're all over the world. So we did a different hero image for each city that they're based in. So we've got a couple of their taglines. Problem solved is one of them. Advancing clarity and efficiency is another one of them. Improve risk claims and safety results with Ventive technology. There's your call to action. Your problem solved. There's your USP, or your unique selling proposition. So, and look how neat and clean that is. Now, if you have employees, if you're a business owner and you have employees, make sure that they upload this too, right? If you want to change phone numbers or make a basic one for them, you can do that. To upload this image, you go to your profile and it says add background. So this is the background that they're talking about. Again, this used to be a premium account, but now everyone has access to it. And it used to only be available in the US, but I believe now everybody has access to the new hero image. So if you haven't done this yet, super quick way to make your profile look better, to attract more people, to brand your business or your company, and use Fiverr, use someone local who's less expensive, or if you do graphics, do this yourself. But mainly you want the 1400 by the 425. And here, guys, this is what I'll do for you. I'm going to put my email address in the question box here. So you can ask me any questions that I don't get to today, but also I've got a template for this. So if you want my template, just email me and I'd be more than happy to send that to you so that you can use the most space as optimally as possible. Also, if you are looking for someone to do a background, my person does it for $25. So I can set you up with her as well. All right, next slide. We are just moving right along here, aren't we? I better get on a roll here. The summary section. So right underneath that top area where you have your picture and your professional headline, which by the way, make sure you upload a photo. If you don't have you've an 87% better chance of someone engaging with you if you upload a photo. Also, your title, your professional headline does not have to say title at company. You have 120 characters to say whatever you want. So again, just take a look at what I've done and think about how you can talk about who you are, what you do, and who you serve in a whopping 120 characters. It's about a sentence. But underneath all of that is the summary section. And there's what I call LinkedIn's building blocks, and it's those little blocks that say add education and add summary and add experience and add projects and add publications. So you want to add a summary for sure. Now again, you've got 2,000 characters really to get into who you are, what you do, and who you serve. Do this in a Word document first or a Pages document first so that you can check spelling, so that you can do a character count, so that you can play around with formatting a little bit, like adding those bullets or other special characters. You'll see what I've done on mine. And so you've got a copy of it in case that LinkedIn ever gets rid of your account for whatever reason. So do it first in a Word document, add those bullets, add those special characters. And again, if you've got links that you want to send people to, maybe you've got a landing page, maybe you've got a new product for sale, maybe you have a new project that you're trying to get funding for, you can talk about that, put the link in there. It won't be a hyperlink on the website, but it will be a hyperlink in mobile. And actually in Europe, you all use mobile even more than we do in the US. So it's absolutely worth getting those links in there. If you're comfortable doing so, add your contact information. I've got my help at linkedintobusiness.com. So again, any information that comes to me either at help@linkedintobusiness.com or at the phone number I have on my LinkedIn profile, I know it comes from LinkedIn because those are really the only two areas that I use that other than my website. So I know it's probably coming from LinkedIn. And then what you really want to do, having said all of this, you want to focus on what's in it for your consumer or your client. So the WIFT, right? What's in it for them. You can talk about yourself all day long and how awesome you are and what great things you have, but realistically, no one gives a you know what, right? So you have to focus on what's in it for your audience or for your client base. So that means you need to know who your audience is. You need to know how you serve them best. And then it's really easy to customize or to write your content so that it makes sense to them. So really focus on your audience, how you help them, how you solve their issues, whoever your audience is, whatever it is that you actually do for them. There we go. All right, let's talk about content marketing with LinkedIn. So we're going to talk about Publisher here. This is one of my favorite tools. If you know me at all, you know I'm not really happy with all the changes that LinkedIn has made recently. I don't like the new Messenger. I don't like the new groups. I do like the new groups app, by the way. So for those of you who have an iPhone, because they don't have it yet for Android, if you've got an iPhone, definitely download the LinkedIn Groups app. It's actually better than the Groups application on the website, which makes no sense to me at all. Anyway, enough of that. Let me talk about Publisher. So on LinkedIn, there's this thing called Pulse, and that's their news reader. So Publisher is the instrument that you use to create content that if you are lucky, gets put into Pulse. It's not a given. The good news is if your content does get put into Pulse, the possibility of people seeing that is exponential. So instead of having the 40,000 or 400,000 or 4 million people in your network seeing your content or potentially seeing your content, you have all of LinkedIn and really anyone who has the Pulse app, because there's actually a third-party app, a newsreader app that people who don't even belong to LinkedIn have. So you actually have the possibility of your content showing up with the latest on Kim Kardashian. Um, it's a little bit of a long shot, but it is possible. And let's face it, I mean, most of us are not going to get into major news magazines with our picture next to Kim Kardashian's, but it is a possibility, a remote one, but it is a possibility that that could happen with Pulse. But even if it doesn't happen, even if you don't get your content into Pulse, it is still a phenomenal place for you to repurpose content you're already creating. Like I said, if you've got a blog, if you write a newsletter, if you do videos, if you use Periscope, if you do anything at all like that, then I'm going to tell you the best practices in trying to get into Pulse. Don't worry, that is coming, Riz. But if you do any content creation at all, you can put it into Publisher, and then if LinkedIn likes you, they'll actually put it into Pulse. So let's dive down a little bit deeper into what you can do. As I mentioned, you can get crazy views if your publisher goes into Pulse, but even if it doesn't go into Pulse, I got to tell you right now, I get about 100,000-ish hits to my website every month, which is respectable. It's not like, you know, it's not like some out there, but it's better than most. So that's pretty respectable. Nonetheless, when I duplicate content on my website and on Publisher, because absolutely it's okay to duplicate content, I get more views, more likes, and more shares on Publisher. So it's worth taking that content you've already created anyway and putting it on Publisher. The other good reason to use Publisher is your posts and the content in your posts are searchable by keyword. So right now on LinkedIn, the only things that are searchable on keyword are your profile itself, but let's face it, that's kind of static. You only write it once and then kind of refresh it maybe every 6 months or so. But your content that you create on Publisher, that you can change weekly, daily, depending on how much you write. That content is searchable by keyword, which means it's findable on LinkedIn, which means that if someone is searching for a LinkedIn expert, and I have a lot of articles on my LinkedIn expertise, that would be kind of gross, but if I did, then not only might my profile show up, but all my articles might show up. Now, what that means is if someone is looking for a resource, so someone in media is looking for a resource, and maybe they want to know about the latest SaaS, software as a service, the latest SaaS programs out there, and you have written an article on the best SaaS programming available. Now you become a resource to them. I've got to tell you, this is how most of the people find me who ask me, who use me as a resource for Forbes, for Entrepreneur Magazine, for Living, Simple Living. I mean, some of the biggest magazines in the U.S., well, I guess in the world, they found me because of articles I wrote. And that's a LinkedIn expert on LinkedIn talking about LinkedIn. So there's a lot of us. What about you all? Do you have a really niche industry? Because let me tell you, if you start writing about what you do and you do a decent job at it, so maybe, if you're not great, you have your VA look over it or you have someone look over it, because that's me. I have fast fingers and I always make mistakes, so I have to have someone look at it. Again, I have to have an editor look at it. But if you've already created that content anyway and you put it on LinkedIn and someone in media is looking for a resource on that particular niche industry, there is a really good chance that they might reach out to you. I have a client who does construction tape. Echo Tape is the name of the company. She wrote several articles on best uses of construction tape and got some interviews. I had another client. She's a realtor in Dubai. Well, she owns an island and sells resorts on the island. We set her up to talk about real estate and, more importantly, talk about investing and talking about how having property in Dubai on her island, can help bring better balance to your life. She sold, not strictly because of that article, but in part because of that article, that got her known. She sold a $25 million property, which she might not have if she hadn't published that. Another friend of mine, he's not a client, but he's a friend, and he's in my new program, Fabrizio. He's in Italy, and he has jets. He sells executive jets. So, $250, $350 million. He has sold like 3 jets because of the content that he wrote in Publisher. It's a big deal and it's free, and I would highly recommend, if you're already creating content, please use it. So let's talk about how do you use Publisher. Well, first of all, on your home page, they don't make it easy. On your home page, there's you can see where the orange arrow is. It says publish a post. So all you have to do is click on publish a post. That's going to take you to this page that you see over here on the left. And you simply add an image and add your content. Now, there are really only 13 different ways to format your content. Heading 1, heading 2, you can add a quote, you can do bold, italics, underscore, or strike through. You can align left, you can align center, you can add bullets, you can add numbered lists and bullets lists. You can add links, you can add hyperlinks to words or to images. That's a big deal. You can, of course, add images, and you can embed YouTube and SlideShare. So again, take what you have, perhaps customize it a little bit, but how do you use this for lead generation? Well, not only are you using this to position yourself as an expert, but in the content itself, you can certainly, guide people over to your website. You can guide people over to your latest product. You can guide people over to a landing page. And you can almost put like little mini ads throughout your published content. So a couple things, though, to be aware of with LinkedIn Publisher. The image is 700 by 400. Your main image is 700 by 400, but you can upload something and kind of edit it and move it around, but be aware of that. It is best if you do 900 to 1400 words. So unlike, everyone's saying do under 800 characters or 800 words for a blog post, that is not true on LinkedIn. Longer is better. So maybe you have to combine a few blog posts to get to that word count. 900 to 1400 word blogs seem to do better. Once you have created your blog or repurposed your blog, after you've written your blog, just hit save. And after you save it, you can go back in and make changes and then publish it. Now, once it's published, all you can do is delete it or edit it. Actually, that's pretty much everything you can do. So if it's already published, you can absolutely edit it. Or if something happens, you can delete it. So like I wrote a post on how horrified I was that LinkedIn got rid of the employee feature on company pages. Well, that happened to just be a glitch. It actually, LinkedIn didn't actually take them away except for a couple hours when I happened to be looking at it. So I went and I didn't delete that post, but I went in and I re-edited it and I went, okay, it was a glitch, but nonetheless, this is something you need to be aware of. So I was able to go in and edit it and refresh it. You'll also see if you look at my profile, I'll go updated. So I'll put in capital letters updated. So if something changes, I can just go back into the post. And then, of course, you want to publish it. And you have the opportunity to publish it to Twitter and Facebook as well. They had Google Plus and then they took it away. I don't know why. But you've got the link, so you can absolutely publish it wherever you want. And then keep an eye on it, because people will absolutely not only like and share it, but they'll comment on it. Those comments are the beginnings of relationships. And what is LinkedIn? How do you use LinkedIn? It's to connect, it's to find, connect, and engage with prospects, right? And so this gives you an opportunity to engage with prospects. It gives you an opportunity to invite them to connect with you. It gives you an opportunity to take it offline. You can say, hey, I noticed you had a question about my post. Here's my phone number. I'd be happy to answer it to you. Or give me your email address. I'd be happy to send you an answer. And so now you've got the opportunity of really building that relationship. Because here's the thing. People saw your post either on their timeline or they actively searched it out. They read your post and they responded to it. They have stake in the game. They have spent anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 to half an hour reading your post and learning from you. These are hot prospects, right? These are people that you want to engage with. And LinkedIn does a pretty good job of allowing you to see who's not only looked at your profile, but what they've commented on, and you can go in there and respond to them. Not only that, but it gives you statistics as well. So a couple more things. I thought I had it in here, but I don't. A couple more things to be aware of with LinkedIn Publisher. So 900 to 1400 words. You want to treat your post like any type of content that you deliver and redeliver and redeliver. So if you're using a scheduler of some sort, like Octopost or Hootsuite or Sprout Social or any of the update scheduling tools out there, go ahead and repost or reshare your post as an update for the next week, for the next 2 weeks, for the next 6 months, as long as it's relevant. Go ahead and get it into your scheduler if you use one. And because LinkedIn has actually really decent statistics on not only who's looking at your profile, but how it's doing, you can see that when you activate a sharing campaign, the views go up, the views go up, the views go up. Now, how do you get your published post into Pulse? Excellent question. There's a couple things. First of all, LinkedIn has real-life people, LinkedIn editors, who are looking at these posts and physically moving them into Pulse. So just know it's not just an algorithm. Now there is an algorithm there. So it's a combination of people who viewed your post, who have commented on your post, who've liked your post, and you shared your post. You don't necessarily have to have that 1,000 views and 300 comments. As long as you've got, I think it's a 30%. So if you have 100 shares, you need at least 30. I'm sorry, if you've got 100 views, you have to have at least 30 comments and shares and likes. So just be aware that that number needs to be up there in order for LinkedIn Pulse to even look at it. That's number one. Number two, it has to be good content. It has to be well written and good content, or the LinkedIn editor is not going to pass it, even if it's got a lot of likes and shares. Number three, I would not recommend writing about LinkedIn. LinkedIn has this weird thing where they don't feel like they should promote people talking about LinkedIn. Like they don't want to show favoritism. So don't write about LinkedIn. Write about your niche market. Write about what you're really good on. And then you have the chance of that going into Pulse. The other thing that you want to do is at the bottom of your post, you want to tag your post. So you're actually allowed to add tags. So go ahead and do that too. But the main thing for Pulse is the ratio of views to likes to shares. It needs to be really good content. Now, once you get put in Pulse once, go look at who's viewed your profile. See if a LinkedIn editor viewed your profile. That's probably the person who put your post into Pulse, and see if you can start a relationship with them. That's what my friend John White did. He put his MBA thesis, like big piece of copy, right? He put his MBA thesis on LinkedIn. It got over, last time I saw it, had over 800,000 views. 800,000 views. He got put there by a LinkedIn editor. He found out who did it. He created a relationship with that person. So he sends his posts to that person anytime he thinks it's relevant. They don't always put it in Pulse, but they sometimes do. So if you happen to get into Pulse the first time, it's like it's like publishing a book. Once you write your first book, no problem. Getting it there the first time, that's harder. But once you've done it the first time, take a look at who's viewed your profile, and then with luck, develop a relationship with that editor. Why do you want to be on Pulse? You want to be on Pulse because of those exponential views. People outside of your own network can see it. Otherwise, you're on Publisher, and that's good enough, and you should still do that. But if you get into Pulse, even better. Yeah, thank you for asking that, Riz. Your tags, I wish it were keywords. It might be keywords, but as you start typing in your tag, like I would want to put like LinkedIn expert tips. That's what would be my tag if I could do it. LinkedIn won't let me. I have to do LinkedIn marketing. So as you start to type in a word that you think might be a good tab, LinkedIn will give you a drop down. You can choose that particular tag. 3 tags, 3 or 4. 3 tags, I believe it is. It might be 4. I can't remember. 3 or 4. All right, let's talk about managing your network. So you've got a great profile now because you've got a great summary and you've got a great hero image and you've uploaded your image. You're starting to write content, so you're starting to attract new people to your profile. You're starting to get new connections. How do you manage them? Well, LinkedIn actually has a built-in CRM system that allows you to interact with these people. Before we do that, let's talk about the new Messenger feature, because once someone has connected to you, either you've invited them to connect or they've invited you, doesn't really matter, you now have Messenger. It's essentially a chat feature. Here's what I like about it. It's more responsive. So you really can, it's not immediate, but if someone happens to be on LinkedIn looking at their inbox and you happen to be in your inbox, you can start up a conversation. I've had that happen like twice, but it is possible. So it's a little bit more responsive. It's really easy to upload files and images now. So that's really good. If you're interacting with a prospect, and let's say you have an intake form, now you can just send it to them through LinkedIn. Or let's say that you want to show them an example of your work. You can send them a file of your SlideShare, or you can upload an image of a graphic you just created. So it's really easy and responsive to add and share images and files. This is Messenger. This is private between the two of you. There are emojis. Woohoo! This, I don't get it actually because this isn't Facebook. I love the emojis and the GIFs that you can do on Facebook. This is a business site, so I'm not quite sure why LinkedIn has emojis, but they do. Um, what I don't like about Messenger, you can't sort your messages. You can't sort your messages by ones that you've received and ones that you've sent. They're all clumped together. They got rid of archived messages. They did this while I was on vacation. When I came back, my assistant told me what they didn't is they made all my archived messages like new messages. She had to sort through 9,000 messages. 9,000 messages going back 8 years to clean up my inbox. Oh, it was so expensive. But anyway, I'm not a real fan about that. The other thing is you lose the ability to private message groups of people at a time. So you used to be able to, do a search on 10 people or pull up 10 of your closest friends, but then send each of them a private message with the same content. So it was very timely. We've lost that. Now, I found a tool, but it's $50 a month. So now I have to pay $50 a month on top of what I pay for LinkedIn Premium. I've got one of the highest accounts that you can get on LinkedIn. I still don't have these. I still don't have the ability to sort my inbox except on Sales Nav, but I mostly use this inbox because they're not integrated. And I don't have the ability to do private messages to groupings of people anymore. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know why LinkedIn did this. So that's kind of the downside. Also, don't like the new invitations area. You have to practically be a contortionist to figure out how to hover, click, swipe, and see the people who've invited you to connect. By the way, everyone says, oh, they don't have private messaging for invitations anymore. They do. It's the little teeny tiny icon with a bunch of lines in it. How would you know that that's what that was? It's either if you've got the old profile, it's on the bottom right. If you have the new profile, it's on the top right. And then you can reply kind of to those messages, but it's a lot more difficult. I don't know why they took a feature that was working and made it harder for us. And this is not anything you can opt in or out of. We're stuck with this. So not happy about that. But to try and be positive and to try and talk about the positivity and how you can use this for lead generation, if you are interacting with prospects, it is more responsive. You can add images and files, and that's actually a really good thing. So the new messenger feature does help you engage more with prospects. And that's how I'm going to try and stay positive. The other thing is their new CRM, so customer relationship management tool. About 3 years ago, they bought a tool called Connected HQ. It was a social CRM system. They integrated it into LinkedIn. It is free. Anyone with the free account can use this. There are a few more things you can do with the premium account, but this is everything I'm going to show you today you can do with the free account. So first of all, when you have a new connection on LinkedIn, or when you find someone that you want to connect to on LinkedIn, you click on this little relationship star right here. So you see that star underneath Carrie's picture. That is the relationship star. That opens up the CRM system. So in case you didn't know, that's where the CRM system was actually hiding before. Why they hide them from us, I don't know. But anyway, that's where it hides. Now, what's really, really cool is after you have saved someone as a contact, if you are not yet connected to them, so if this little connect button shows up here, so if you're not yet connected to them, you can go into the connections link. So you've got that connections link at the top of your profile. You can click on that, sort by new, and their profile will show up there. Then what you can do is hover over the connect button. Now you can invite them to connect, and you don't have to say we're friends, we're colleagues, we're classmates, or we don't know each other. So how cool is that? That you can actually find and invite someone to connect with you without jumping through LinkedIn's hoops, and you're not limited to 300 characters. You can't put an email address or a phone number in there. Actually, you can't put a phone number. You can't put an email address or website in there. They'll have to respond to you through LinkedIn. But it is a great opportunity to expand upon why you want to connect with that person in the first place. Don't use this to sell anything. Your first connection on LinkedIn should never, ever, ever, ever be a sales pitch. But that's kind of like a little ninja trick, a little hack. So the relationship star, save them as a contact, go into your connections, sort by new. So here's your connections. This is what it looks like in the background there. Sort by new, and then the profile should show up, and then you can just click on the connect button. So that is really, really a great way to get around how do you know someone if you don't actually know them. And yes, you can connect to people you don't know. You should connect to people. Who are good for your business or you're good for their business. That's my parameters. The other thing is you can take notes on those individuals. So anytime I have a call with a prospect, I will go onto LinkedIn, I will open up their profile, I will open up a note, and I will make my notes on our talk there. What do they want? What am I charging them? What are their needs? What are their frustrations? I put all of that into my notes section. That way it's always there. Whether I'm on my mobile or whether I'm in front of my desk, I always have access to those notes. Really handy when you're at a conference and you meet someone and you're like, oh crap, I don't remember. How do I know this person? Like if you can do it in a subtle way, look them up on LinkedIn, like, oh yeah, that's right. We were going to work together and they stiffed me. Okay, give me my money right now. So that's never actually happened to me. But it is a really good way for you to help remember who you're working with. Now, if you're already using a CRM system like Salesforce or Nimble, then this is duplicate work. But if you're not, this is a really, really great way to manage your network from within LinkedIn. And it keeps a history of your interaction on LinkedIn, from the time you connected to appointments you've had with them, to notes that you've taken, to emails that you've sent each other. As long as they're saved as a content and you've synced your Google Calendar and your contacts, your Gmail contacts, if you use Gmail, or Yahoo if you use Yahoo, as long as you've done that, LinkedIn will keep that record for you. This is all free, by the way. The other thing that you can do, and this is my biggest failing for sure as a business person, I let people fall through the cracks. I've got someone that I've been meaning to, right here, right here. I spoke 2 weeks ago at this conference, and I've been meaning to get, big deal. That's a big job for me, and I just haven't gotten back in touch with them. So I should have put them into LinkedIn. For some reason, I didn't. I will contact them after this webinar. But what you can do is you can set reminders to yourself to follow up with those individuals. So whether it's a day, a week, or on an ongoing basis, you can set those reminders. So let's say you've got a prospect. They're a bit of a cold prospect. You might have talked to them once on the phone, or you might have met them at a trade show. They're a little bit cold. Nope, not premium. This is free. This is all part of the free account. Now, yes, you have to have a premium account to do people who are outside of your network. So if they're friends of friends of friends, or you don't share a group together, this doesn't work. You're absolutely right, Riz. But if they're a friend of a friend, or you share a group together, you should get access to this. But you can set a reminder to get back in touch with them. It's always better if you can invite someone to connect, because now you've got them, they're yours. But you can set reminders to follow up with these people every month or every 6 months. And then that way they don't fall through the cracks. It's a really oh, by the way, this disappeared. But between me uploading this presentation and like today, this has disappeared, this over here on the right. But you still can set reminders, and the reminders will pop up. And LinkedIn's working on integrating it with Google, so it actually pops up on your Google. It's not working yet. But again, there's a third-party app. It's called LinkedIn Connections. It's basically this app right here that's on the website. If you've got an iPhone, they don't have it for Android yet, but if you download LinkedIn Connections, any reminders that you say will actually pop up on your phone. So two apps to download, 3 apps to download if you haven't done so yet, if you have an iPhone. The LinkedIn app, the Groups app, and the Connected app on LinkedIn, or LinkedIn Connections app. Definitely do that. So setting reminders has been a game changer for me personally. And then finally, one of the things that you can do, which I love, is you can tag your network. So I have 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. Way too many. You never want that many connections on LinkedIn. So I have no, or previous to tags, I had no way of managing that. It was just one big clump of people. Now I can go in and I can create tags. They don't see it, but I can create tags very similar to Facebook lists that will help me segment my audience. So a big thing I do, like I do a lot of trade shows and conferences, I'll put the name of the conference, you can see that right here, ABCN, I'll put the name of the conference as a tag, and then everyone I meet at that conference, whether I do it on my phone or whether I do it when I get home, I'll tag them with that conference name. That allows me to stay back in touch with them and see who they were. So I love tagging. They don't see it. I literally have a tag that says biatch because there are some people on LinkedIn I just don't like. But mostly I have like prospect or the types of prospect I have, female lawyer in New York City. So it allows me to segment my audience and keep better in touch with my audience. I truly wish it had the functionality of LinkedIn lists where I could see their updates too, but LinkedIn is not as sophisticated, go figure, as Facebook is. So as we wrap up, wow, I did it in time even though I came in late. So we have time for questions. If there are more questions on, pop them into that question box on the left-hand side. As we wrap up, anything you do on LinkedIn, whether it is creating a nice profile with your summary section or whether it's creating content or whether it's engaging directly, you need to really be clear on who your target market is. The more niche, the better. Now, obviously, you know, I'm pretty niche down because I only do LinkedIn. I only teach and train on LinkedIn. But I still have markets within there. I've got my legal clients, I've got my financial clients, I have my entrepreneurs, and I have my C-suite executives. So I have to be aware of who I want to target at any given time. I will rewrite big portions of my profile depending on what I'm doing. So like I'm going to have a product coming out that's focused on entrepreneurs and small business owners and content creators and marketers. So I may change up my profile. I might change my hero image. Might change my summary section to speak more to those people than necessarily my corporate or my legal folks. You can change things up, which is another reason why it's good to have a Word document and title them well so you remember where they are. But that way I can switch in and out my summary sections depending on who I'm trying to attract at any given time. How are you going to connect to those people? Are you going to invite them to connect? Use that hack I showed you. Maybe get an introduction. Those are now, they're hidden again. They're now on the right-hand side. So if you see, and they only work with friends of friends. So if you wanted to connect with me, but you were uncomfortable, send me an invitation. Don't be, just send it. But you were connected to Anton, you would go to Anton's profile and you would go to my profile and then you would see Anton on the right-hand side and you could say, Anton, could you please introduce me to Viveka? So introductions are great. Messages if you're first level connections. If you have to, you can spend money on an in-mail. It's a good last resort, but they run about 10 bucks a pop, or 10 euro a pop. Once you are connected, how do you engage with them? So sharing updates, sharing, writing posts and sharing those posts, sending those messages, going into your tagged segments of individuals and saying, hey, I see, I see that we went to this conference together. It's been 6 months. We talked about this. Do you need any help? So it's just a way to stay in touch with them. And then I know you're not going to do everything I talked about today, or maybe you are, but if you're not, what are the 3 things of everything I talked about today? What are the 3 things that you're willing to do in the next 24 hours? Which is, sleeping too. You can add sleeping to that. But what are the next 3 things that you'll do within the next 24 hours on LinkedIn? So that is pretty much all my presentation today. Reid Hoffman says all humans are entrepreneurs not because they should start companies, but because the will to create is encoded in human DNA. I like this quote because whether you are an employee, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a job seeker, you are wanting to create something with your life, and whatever that business looks like, I think LinkedIn can help you create that. Here is, don't need that. Here is my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me. And if we have any more questions, please go ahead and ask them. Pop them in the left-hand side. And Anton, you can come on back in now. Rabil says republish blogs create duplicate content issues, not on Google. So you actually are pretty safe creating duplicate content. The other thing to remember is people who look at your website are not necessarily looking at your LinkedIn profile all the time. We've tested it. We've not had any issues. One of my friends is Dave Kerpen. He's an influencer on LinkedIn, like the IN influencer. He duplicates content all the time. It's not an issue. So just you would think it would be, but it's actually not. So you're pretty safe duplicating content. Just want to address that concern. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, guys. Okay, Viveka, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks. Comment on the left side.